Read the 4.6 billion year life evolution history of Earth at one time. What kind of experience is it? About 4.6 billion years ago, gas and particles dispersed in the solar system, after billions of years of contraction, and in the constant collision and condensation of stars. Our Earth was formed, but the Earth is very hot at this time. No hard surface, only vast lava. The temperature even exceeds 1200. 4.5 billion years ago, a planet called Theia collided with the Earth. The shock waves it generates spread rapidly. A large number of debris sprayed into space. Under the action of accretion, our moon finally formed. And because of this violent collision, it also made the Earth's rotation speed very fast at that time. Only 6 hours a day. In the next 300 million years, as the asteroid and comet collide violently, make the Earth sigh in the abyss. At the same time, the heat generated by volcanic eruptions and meteorite impacts. It also brings a lot of moisture. That's all. A heavy rain lasted for millions of years. Finally, 4.2 billion years ago, the formation of the original ocean turned the Earth into an ocean planet from then on, and the conditions for nurturing life began to be. About 3.9 billion years ago, life appears for the first time on Earth. It is the origin of all things. A single-celled organism called Leuca. Then time came 2.6 billion years ago. By this time the land lava had erupted for millions of years. A large amount of toxic gas fills the sky. The Earth is covered by huge methane clouds. The whole appearance shows a yellow celestial body. But at this time, plankton appeared in the ocean. Their cellular structure is more complete. Photosynthesis has even evolved. Begin to make a lot of oxygen and gather. Transform the Earth into a blue planet. This is the Earth's oxidation event. It is also because of this incident. Causes large amount of greenhouse gases in the air. This causes the Earth's temperature to drop suddenly. 2.4 billion years ago, Earth has experienced the Huron Ice Age that lasted tens of millions of years. During this period, the process of life was interrupted. The Earth has become a snowball. A large number of greenhouse gases brought by undersea volcanic activities gradually dissolved the glaciers. The warm sunshine shines on the Earth's ocean again. In the long hundreds of millions of years, life evolves very slowly, until one day 1.6 billion years ago, Eobacteria and Archaea fuse inadvertently, and gradually evolved into eukaryotic organisms, become a great miracle in the history of biological evolution on Earth. Time has come 600 million years ago. Eukaryotes finally usher in an evolutionary battle. A large number of soft somatic multicellular invertebrates begin to appear. They form the most unique Ediacara biome, and facing rich resources and suitable environment, plus the lack of natural enemies, let the organisms of this period choose to be content with the status quo. Finally, 540 million years ago, the emergence of arthropods become a nightmare for these lower invertebrates. They continue to move forward on the corpses of Ediacara animals, and it opened the first grand curtain in the history of Earth's biological life. Cambrian life explosion. The ocean is unprecedented. The first overlord Kaja was hunting unscrupulously. Trilobites with hard armor are also waiting for an opportunity. And like the Apabin sea scorpion, all kinds of weird creatures such as weird insects. At the same time, the earliest vertebrates on Earth appeared. Fish creature, Hyco fish. It is precisely because of their existence. This is what constitutes such a spectacular ancient ocean. Time has come 510 million years ago. The land is deserted at this time, not suitable for living, and near the land near the ocean, species started to challenge. Lichen is a complex of algae and fungi. It is precisely because of this magical combination, only by conquering this barren land, and its greatest masterpiece is undoubtedly, spread the mycelium underground, then slowly decompose the hard rocks. First piece of soil was born from the earth, paving the way for later plants. Soon, the first plant appeared on land. Moss. There is only one layer of cells on their leaves, although it cannot grow upward, but it can move forward at an extremely fast reproductive rate. The entire continent was covered in a very short time, and in the next 40 million years, become the only overlord on Earth at that time. Next, let's move our time to 468 million years ago. At this time, earth-shaking changes have taken place in the ocean, and a new era of life blooms. This is the Ordovician life radiation. Compared with the Cambrian, the animal size increased several times during this period. Mollusks are beginning to flourish, and always stage a life and death showdown. The trilobite family still exists, and their armor becomes stronger, and those opponents naturally become more terrifying. Cornerstone with a body length of up to 9 meters successfully defeated Kaja. Become a new generation of maritime overlords. At the same time, a very important new life has emerged. The world's first early fish with spine, star turtle. They will create amphibians later, reptiles, mammals and birds, etc. But now the ancestor of human beings. It's still in the beginning of a long journey. As time fades, 460 million years ago, mosses on land successfully evolved lignin. This can make them grow thicker. To compete for the sunshine, they also began to compete fiercely. A shocking plant explosion has officially arrived. But what is unexpected is, it is when everything that has been flourishing for more than 20 million years. But the Earth ushered in the first ever species extinction event, Ordovician extinction, 445 million years ago, due to the rapid decrease in the carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere. The Earth has lost its protection from greenhouse gases, putting temperature into an extreme mode. Seawater cools down rapidly and freezes. More than half of the world's area has been frozen into glaciers. And under this beautiful and enchanting ice crystal pattern, it has also become the tomb of all things. This incident directly led to 85% of life and death. There are also some adaptable creatures. Choose to move to the deep sea area. This will allow the fire of life to be preserved. Nightmare will always wake up one day. Global temperatures are beginning to slowly rise. An extremely gorgeous melting announcement begins. It lasted for thousands of years. Almost all glaciers disappeared. The Earth returns to the blue, and entered the Silurian period of life recovery. During this period, it took more than 20 million years. Repair the trauma caused by the Ordovician extinction. It also gave birth to a great change. As the temperature of the Earth rises, plankton begins to reproduce in large quantities. Although the chelid animal in armor is pinfoot, rule the ocean during this period, but once inconspicuous vertebrate fish, then start to exert force quietly. They evolved over a long period of time to move the jaws. Finally, 400 million years ago, the big explosion in the fish era, the Earth has officially entered the Devonian period, and the ocean during this period is undoubtedly a paradise for vertebrates. Jawed fish are highly diverse. It is a representative of the fishes. Dunch fish became the largest marine predator in the Devonian era. They are 10 meters long. 4 feeling, not only has extremely hard armor, its bite force is also amazing. Even chrysanthemums with very high hardness can also be bitten into pieces in one bite. It can be said, have an amazing jaw and a flexible spine. Such a perfect combination, so that the vertebrates that followed have moved forward. At the same time, land is no longer simple moss and bare ferns. Real fern plants grow into towering trees more than 10 meters tall. Forests form quickly. Soil and atmospheric components are optimized. Life on land begins to be budded. As the earliest landed arthropod, he also became the first overlord of this primitive rainforest. Just one day 370 million years ago, a major miracle in the history of biological evolution. The only meat-finned fish that breathes with the lungs, under constant oppression by the fish of the squid, climbing to the beach for the first time, completed the login feat. That's why, in the future, the largest vertebrate group on land in the world was created. It can be said, all the birds and beasts today, even humans, all of them are plagued by this. Perhaps it is because the existence of the dungsa fish is too resistant to the sky. Nature made up his mind to reopen the game. 360 million years ago, submarine volcanoes and mantle plumes suddenly erupt. Hot magma causes seawater temperature to rise rapidly. This originally prosperous ocean has been plunged into a terrifying purgatory. Although half of the fish population failed to survive, but the dang fish survived. Until next, with the explosion of plankton population, rapidly reduce oxygen content in the ocean. This not only makes the once arrogant dang's fish completely withdraw from the stage of history, it also caused 75% of marine life to die. The wreckage of life is everywhere on the coastlines of the world. This is the second species extinction event in Earth's history, Devonian extinction, but this time the land is a different scene. Time came to the Carboniferous period 345 million years ago. At that time, the mainland sector was not as fragmented as it is today. Instead, it is in a gradual aggregation process. Large areas of tropical rainforests are also concentrated here, make the climate warm and humid during this period. Thick forests and swamps. This also leads to the Earth's oxygen content, achieving an unprecedented peak moment. The oxygen concentration is even twice as high as it is now. It is also affected by this. During this period, many extremely large arthropods emerge. For example, there is a giant veined dragonfly that is bigger than an eagle. Giant lung scorpion over 1 meter long, and the size can reach 3 meters. the giant horse who is cruel by nature. Therefore, the Carboniferous Age was also called the Giant Insect Era, and the meat-finned fish that has completed its landing feat. It also evolved into a Carboniferous salamander with limbs. Not only became the top predator in Carboniferous waters, it also marks the official opening of the Amphibian Era. Time has come 320 million years ago. Earth's land over time merged into a Pangu continent. From then on, the inland climate has become very dry. The contiguous forest that covers the sky and the sun is broken down. Rivers and swamps are almost gone. Large tracts of land begin to desert. This greatly reduces the oxygen concentration, made these giant insects difficult to adapt, finally to perish. This is the collapse of the rainforest at the end of the Carboniferous Age. Some amphibians that need to lay eggs in the water. Evolution also occurred due to the decrease in water sources. Make the outer membrane of the egg gradually turn into a hard shell. This will make it on land. This formed the first egg on the earth. At the same time, some amphibians have also evolved into amniotic animals. This allows them to be completely out of the limitations of the water source. Go to explore further areas. The Earth opened the last era of the Paleozoic era, an era of monsters dancing around. Permian, over time, 300 million years ago. At this time, amniotic animals were already spread throughout Pangu continent. It also differentiated into two major dynasties, Hegungsau and Lizardosa. The endless struggle officially begins from now on. But at that time, the lizard-shaped class represented by the shield Ankylosaurus is still very weak. Although the body length can reach 3.5 meters, wearing heavy armor, but feed on plants. In contrast, the representative of the Hegung group, but he became the top predator of the Permian period. They are more than 3 meters long. Canine teeth can reach 15 centimeters, feeding with lizard-shaped creatures such as shield Ankylosaurus. Although the mercenary of the bow is at its peak at this time. But it's not without aliens. For example, the timid water dragon beast. A little bit of wind and whirl can scare them back into the cave. It was the only way to escape the tragic mass extinction incident that followed. Time has come 251 million years ago. With a loud noise, supermantle plumes located on the seabed of today's Sichuan province suddenly erupted. A huge earthquake instantly tear the seabed plate, and it affects the active Siberian volcanic region. Trillions of tons of magma gushed out of the mantle, and swept the world at an extremely fast speed. In the end, half of Pangu continent was swallowed, although some animals can escape. Then, volcanic eruptions fall like raindrops. It caused a large area of wildfires. The food chain is broken as a result. The entire ecosystem has completely collapsed. All animals die and struggle. The earth fell into silence as a result. This is the most tragic Permian mass extinction incident in history. In this natural disaster, not only has it destroyed up to 95% of the species on Earth, even once destroyed the Earth's ecosystem that has evolved for billions of years. But fortunately, all things remain a glimmer of hope after all. Fungal organisms first use extremely strong adaptability, take over the doomsday cemetery. After tens of thousands of years of recovery, 250 million years ago, the Earth finally opened the curtain of the Mesozoic era, Triassic, since there were almost no large predators in the early days after the mass extinction. This has made the water dragon beast tribe flourish. From the bottom of the previous food chain, we came directly to the top. During this period, the number of water dragon beasts accounts for 3/4 of the entire land vertebrates. This is a feat that other animals have never had before. Such a rule obviously won't last long. With the changes in the Triassic landform, the temperature in Pangu continent began to soar. Temperatures even reached 60 degrees in central land. The largest desert in the history of the Earth was born. Looking at the past and present, few animals survive in the desert. But the lizard becomes an exception. Its powerful adaptability make them rise from the desert. Finally, 248 million years ago, the once inconspicuous little lizard gradually evolved into a powerful crocodile. Not only has strong defense capabilities, he also mastered powerful predation skills. And regard the water dragon beast that dominated the Earth for nearly 4 million years as a buffet. From then on, the Earth officially entered the reptile dynasty. Various reptiles appeared one after another during this period, make land competition extremely fierce. At the same time, the lasting drought has also brought the Earth's temperature to a critical point. 234 million years ago, deep in this extremely arid Pangu continent, a long-lost rain, during the period of 2 million years of wet. It also completely changed the appearance of the entire continent. This is the famous Kenichi Hongji incident. Various short green plants grow wildly like mushrooms after a rain. The once arid land becomes wet. The grassland gradually became a forest. The Earth's species have also begun to undergo major changes. Previously, short animals that evolved from drought could only eat ferns. Due to inability to adapt to changes in the environment, gradually extinct, alligator turtles and mammals begin to the stage of Earth's history. 230 million years ago, the birth of the Southern Cross began to change the direction of the Earth's evolution. At first they were very short, but as the carbon and oxygen compounds increase, make them bigger and bigger. In the end, the main dragon began to appear on the stage of history. Although the Earth took 50 million years, ecosystem restoration was carried out, but in the end, I can't escape the verdict of fate. 203 million years ago, frequent crustal movements have caused successive eruptions of volcanoes around the world. It also emits huge amounts of carbon dioxide and methane gas into the atmosphere. Growing greenhouse gases causes climate warming and ocean hypoxia, etc. 76% of species are unable to adapt to the drastic changes in the environment. Eventually disappears from the Earth. This is the mass extinction of the Triassic species. But luckily, the main dragon dinosaur was miraculously selected by history. Time comes to the Jurassic period 200 million years ago. The dragon clan will rise strongly in this era. Wingshots and birds are flying in the air. Mammals appear. Amazing evolutionary events happen one after another. Dinosaurs officially declared taking over the rule of the Earth. There are many representative organisms. For example, the huge beam dragon with a body length of up to 27 meters. The winged dragon that conquered the sky for the first time. The brutal overlord slip-toothed dragon in the ocean, top predator of land. And the stegosaurus that can use its tail as a weapon. There are even the oldest real beast mammals. Chinese Jurassic beasts, etc. It can be said, the success of the dinosaur dynasty is not just the long term of rule. It is these strange creatures with the help of the environment. Such a stunning scene of life blooms. 145 million years ago, the Earth finally ushered in the Cretaceous period of the explosion of biological species. During this period, countless colorful flowers began to appear, and use surrounding animals to spread pollination. It has reached another heyday for plant diversity. At the same time, the dinosaur dynasty has reached its peak. During this period, wind god winged dragon soars into the sky, fighting for air supremacy with Wingdon. Amphibious Spinosaurus, fighting for river control with primitive crocodiles. The largest land dinosaur, Poseidon dragon, stands on a high place overlooking the Earth. Huge terror crocodile is eyeing the river. The flying little thief dragon shuttles between the jungle. The dinosaur with a giant sickle claw is hunting together. The largest ceramide, Triceratops, are fighting each other. The weak cliff lizard turned into a huge mosasaur, dominates the entire Cretaceous ocean. The monarch of the Tyrannosaurus, Tyrannosaurus rex, emerge, dominates the entire Cretaceous continent. It can be said, Earth creatures have completely reached a heyday, but it's such a powerful and unshakable empire. After all, a historic moment came. 65 million years ago, a Hexalup asteroid with a diameter of about 10 kilometers, flying towards the Earth at a speed of up to 70,000 kilometers per hour. Impact on the waters of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The explosion produced by the impact is equivalent to 1 billion times the power of the atomic bomb. The violent impact turned all life within a radius of 1,500 kilometers into ashes. More than 3 trillion tons of debris sprayed into space. Shock wave speeds up to thousands of kilometers per hour, and triggered a huge tsunami. All animals were buried under the water, although large dinosaurs can escape. But the disaster is far from over. Immediately afterwards, the ejection from the explosion fell like raindrops. The high-temperature particles triggered large areas of wildfires. Whether on land or in the sky, all dinosaurs have nowhere to escape. The dust in the sky blocks the sun, lasts for decades. Not only has the Earth been thrown into extreme cold weather, plants also wither because they cannot perform photosynthesis. And those dinosaurs that survived, all died because they were unable to adapt to changes in the environment. The entire ecosystem collapses completely. The Earth fell into silence as a result. In this tragic Cretaceous extinction, ended the most charming dinosaur era in biological history. After the impact of mass extinction is completely over, the giant creatures will no longer exist. Rapid radiation from small mammals. Crocodiles get through the difficulties. All in all, surviving animals have one characteristic. That's the size is smaller. And strong adaptability. During that glorious dynasty, they are all the lowest level of the food chain. Now it has become the biggest winner. But because the dinosaur's bloodline is too strong, so many years after it became extinct, it can still exist in another form. For example, in the Paleogene about 62 million years ago, the largest bird at that time, the crowned moa, inherits the thin dinosaur bloodline. They carry the will from ancient times. After the extinction of dinosaurs, they became the king of land again. About 60 million years ago, countless insects have been born in tropical rainforest landforms and begin to reproduce. In this process, they also spread pollen, pave the way for the plant dynasty that followed. About 55 million years ago, the original true primates appeared. They are very small, only 50 centimeters, considered to be human, ancient relatives of apes and monkeys. At the same time, large branches of mammals, the singular and even singular finally appeared. But what is strange is, some animals of the Orohound return to the ocean, become the ancestor of cetaceans. The bucky whale is the oldest and most primitive whale. They look similar to dogs, hairy all over the body, live mainly in freshwater environment, feeding on preying on fish, although they can survive on land. But I can't keep walking. Time has come 34 million years ago. Antarctic is getting colder, then a large amount of freshwater resources were frozen. This situation also makes the northern region drier. This also gives mammals a chance to rise. For example, Anthony, one of the largest terrestrial mammal carnivores. Modern elephants that can dive into the water. The giant ferocious predator, the Endodon. The giant rhino of the largest mammal on land. Modern tigers' close relatives, saber-toothed tiger, and the close relatives of the armadillo, etc. It was during this period. Biology has also begun to gradually gain a more modern appearance. Time has come 21 million years ago. As the mainland sector continues to move, keep the Asian and European sectors evenly in line with the Indian Ocean sector for many years. A difficult situation to decide the winner. This will cause the seabed to rise up along the 2,500 kilometers suture line. Finally, the magnificent Himalayas are formed, and the world's highest peak, Mount Everest. Then time continues to come 15 million years ago. This time, the Australian continent had drifted north for millions of years. And in this process, a vast shallow sea area has also been formed. This is also a brand new cradle of life. Not only makes countless fish breed and thrive here, the strongest shark in the history of the Earth was born, Megatooth shark, as they can be up to 20 meters in length, weigh about 100 tons. Maximum bite force is at least 20 tons. It can easily bite the whale's ribs. It is the most powerful creature found in the history of the Earth. On land, rescue global climate change, make this period a golden age for the open grasslands and prairie. And in the next 10 million years, stimulating the mammal's evolution again. It was also during this period, primates differentiate into two branches. A lion evolved into a monkey. During evolution, chimpanzees fell behind 7 million years ago. In the end, it did not evolve into a smart creature. About 4.4 million years ago, the earliest group of ancient human earth apes walking upright appeared, but due to many threats on land, so they spend most of their time living in trees. Only when you are hungry will you go down to find food. About 3.9 million years ago, Australopithecus evolved from earth apes to survive. An unprecedented migration began. Not only can't eat or drink on the way, it is often attacked by various beasts and natural disasters. This is also the most difficult period for human ancestors. Finally, 1.8 million years ago, the appearance of Homo erectus. It is the only way for humans to have developed limbs and flexible minds, and learn to use fire and various weapons. With continuous evolution and migration from primitive society, gradually the Eurasian continent has spread all over the footprints of humanity. And in just a few hundred years, created one miracle after another. Finally, humans stood at the top of the Earth's food chain.